What's up, folks? This is the Live and Level Gamers Podcast. We will be starting here shortly, so stay tuned as we get things worked out on our end, and we'll jump on. Peace! What's up? Give us a little bit more time, and we'll be on. Peace! It's about to get live. We keep it pretty level, no surprise. Come and listen to the topics busted. Yeah, check out our discussion. Keith Norris and D2K. K-Bump 20 on the MIC. Jet I Night all the way in Germany. Leveled head, you know who that boy is. What they say, live and level, live and level. We on that MIC, live and level, live and level. We just talking them games, live and level, live and level. Take a seat and listen up, man. Live and level, live and level. What's up, people? This is your boy Levelhead back with another Live and Level Gamers podcast. We here doing it live like we always do. I got the crew in the building. We are here. We are ready to go. What's up, folks?
What it do? What it do, baby? What up, people?
What's up, K-Bump?
Yo, what up? What it do, baby? I guess, okay. I forgot where I got that from. That's old boy from
I know what that
from the Clippers. From the Clippers.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, KY.
Kawhi.
That's right. I said KY. Kawhi Leonard.
What he says it? What he do, baby?
Yeah.
I seen a dude on YouTube doing that. Like, been doing it for years. It's a
I know. It probably got famous because of Kawhi though.
Oh, okay.
He's
Anyway,
not
man.
the first to do it. But,
Okay, yeah, I doubt he the first.
Good man, because it's Clippers. That's all it is. It's all
All
good.
right,
Go ahead, man.
Look, listen to it.
It's all good, man. Go ahead, man. Go to the podcast, bro.
Anyway, we are here. We are here, man. Been a minute, but we happy to be back. We don't plan to be here for a long time. We gonna go straight through these things. Let our thoughts be heard, and let our thoughts be spoken. So But anyway, we got K-Bum in the building. We got Keith Norris in the building. Hopefully, Jedi and D2K is able to jump on. But without further ado, man, let's jump into this. Anything special going on? I know D2 seen that. What's that? Some Fate. What is it? Dark Fate?
Terminator, Dark Fate.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot about that, bro. Like,
yes, I did see it.
Oh, there he is.
Snap,
look at
son.
him. Straight up, invisible man. Bro, don't scare us like that. We can't see you, but we can't see you. You know what I'm saying? Don't do us like that, D2. What's good, bro? I said, what's good?
A lot, I guess.
Oh, okay. So fill us
my
in,
ninja
man.
thing right here.
You fill us in. I'm already spoiled on the first few things that happened in the movie at the beginning. I accidentally listened to a review, and they didn't say they wasn't spoiling nothing, and end up spoiling the first 15 minutes of the movie, I guess, or first opening, what the big thing that happened at the beginning. So I know what happens, but I don't know what happens, if you get what I'm saying. But go ahead and take over, bro.
For us.
No, I'm telling him don't spoil it for y'all.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, well, what's the deal with this movie, bro?
It's kind of hard to really explain without spoiling it. I would say that if you are a fan of Terminator, that you owe it to yourself to go see this movie and not be able to form an opinion based on what other people are saying, because you need to see what they actually do, and then you can make a determination of whether or not you agree or disagree.
Okay.
It's better to actually see it than to hear somebody say that, oh, I can't believe they did that. Oh, I don't have a problem with that. No, you need to go see it, and then you can say, okay, I'm down with this, or okay, I'm done. If you know how when you go to certain places and they check your coats and they check your hats or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
If you're willing to do that with your brain before going into this movie, then it's an enjoyable experience. It's got a lot of great special effects. It's got a lot of good action scenes. There's some CGI in this movie that is incredible. I don't even know how they did it. It was so real that you could have sworn that this had to have been footage that didn't make the cutting room floor back in 1991 or wherever they actually filmed Terminator 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's how good it looks. It looks like this, this is, but it's brand new, but it's CGI. Amazing, absolutely amazing. And this happens at the beginning of the movie, and it's just really amazing. But in the same shot, you see some CGI that looks kind of, it's pretty good, but I can kind of see where that's not real, you know. So it's kind of inconsistent throughout the movie, where you see great CGI and then it just looks cartoony after a while. So, about pushing agendas, we already knew that going in to the movie. Most of us who are just, using our brains, like I mentioned earlier. So that didn't bother me as much because I already knew that was going to happen going into the movie. I said, I already know what they're planning with this. I already know what the end goal is. So I'm just going to push that aside and just try to enjoy the movie. And plot holes, there's just certain things that don't make any sense for what story they're trying to tell. And I think that they could have told the story the same way that they told it, or they could have got the same results that they wanted to get without doing what they did. Because there was a lot of different directions they could have taken if they wanted to try something new.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that kind of controversial. But to me, it seems like that they were not really interested in just starting a brand new Terminator franchise, because if they were, they would have just started a brand new Terminator franchise. They would have gotten a new director, new producer, new actors, new actresses, and have a plot be a little bit different and just start over from scratch. But they saw what happened with RoboCop. That didn't do very well. They saw what happened to New Nightmare on Elm Street. That didn't do very well. The Child's Play just came out. That didn't do very well. There's another remote, Friday the 13th. That didn't do very well. So they looked at all that and said, well, if we try to reboot Terminator from scratch with all new people might not be down with that. So let's go back and get James Cameron, have him produce it. Let's bring back Linda Hamilton, have her be Sarah Connor, dust off Arnold Schwarzenegger one more time, and then have a cameo from Edward Furlong, who played John Connor in the 1991 Terminator movie. And that should be enough to draw people in, and it was. But it was more or less trying to kill off a bargaining chip that a lot of us has been using against Hollywood for their quote-unquote wokeness.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have all of this stuff in Hollywood where they're saying, oh, we need to have female leads and females have to be strong and this and that. And I don't have a problem with that at all. I applaud that. But in order to make them look strong, they said we can't just let them stand side by side with the strong male characters and be strong. We have to make the male characters be weak to make the female characters look strong. And a lot of people would go back and say, well, what about Terminator? Sarah Connor was a strong character, and she was one of the most awesome characters in sci-fi action movie history. And she didn't emasculate anybody in those two movies. Same thing with Aliens with Ellen Ripley. Mm-hmm. She kicked more butt than any male in that entire franchise. But again, she didn't ditch who she was as a female, and she was perfectly comfortable being feminine and still kicking butt. So they said, okay, we'll fix you. We're going to take Sarah Connor and anything without spoiling the movie. It's not good. So, when you see the movie, you understand what I'm saying. But if you just want to waste some money and just have a good laugh and have some fun, it's worth taking a look at.
Let me send this shout out real quick. Shout outs to Shadow Fox Infinite. Welcome to the show. Apologize for that title, bro. That's 2 weeks ago, but I got it updated. Yeah, man. I've been hearing the same thing, D2K, about the whole, basically neutering the males to make the women more prominent. That's been like a sentiment across most of the reviews I've seen. So I'm looking forward to seeing. I heard the action was off the chain, but they said if it if it was considered a standalone movie, it would be pretty good. But going into the storyline is just messed up, and it just, if you know anything about the storyline of Terminator, this movie does a horrible job at I guess making it believable that this fits in, or whatever retcon or reboot they try to do in this movie. Feel like they say it's like a slap in the face to any Terminator fan. They just glossed over too much that had happened. So I'm looking.
They glossed over everything that happened.
Right? Yeah, everything post Terminator 2, right?
From the first one.
Oh, so they even glossed over 2.
They basically said there's no reason to care about this franchise at all.
Okay, yeah, that's what I've been hearing.
And the decision to do what they did came from James Cameron himself, which is even more shocking.
Okay. Now, have y'all been...
go ahead.
No, I was finna change it to another movie, but sticking with it, like you was finna say something, go ahead and finish your thought on it.
No, actually, I take that back because that'll reveal too much. Go ahead.
Okay. Have y'all been seeing all this controversy surrounding Star Wars, the new Star Wars movie, how they had to call in, supposedly they had to call in Lucas. They did like 3 different edits, like because when they did the teaser, or what's that? They sent it out and let folks see the movie, and they get early testers or whatever.
Screenings.
There it is. Thank you, D2. Nobody wanted to help me. I just left me out there. But anyway, the screenings got. You could think of it. The screenings got horrible reviews, like across the board, unanimous. Like, this is trash, terrible, like horrible. So they in panic mode, and I think the dude over the main guy, told him he edited a version, and then George Lucas came in to also edit a version, and they're gonna send it back out. I don't know if y'all heard about that.
I've heard. I don't know if this is even legit because from the source is kind of questionable.
Okay.
But I was watching Tyrone Magnus. I was watching his YouTube channel. He was talking about it, and based off of what he was saying is that it was one cut that was between Kathleen Kennedy and J.J. Abrams, and that one failed miserably. That one was awful. Then there was another one that was headed up by whoever the CEO is of Disney. I forgot what his name is.
Bob Iger.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that was the second one. And that one did better. And then there was one that was headed up by George Lucas, and he took elements of both and then put his spin on it. And that was the one that the test screening fans liked the most.
Okay.
And the rumors of what they did, if that's the direction that they go, and if it's true, it does make it a lot more interesting. It doesn't fix the problem, doesn't fix what they did, but it does make me want to at least go see it. If that's what they're doing, that's the direction that they're going.
Okay.
And the best Star Wars thing they have done so far, to me, ironically, is that Han Solo movie. I don't care what nobody says. You can slam me for it. The Force Awakens.
You say what? You say what?
The Han Solo movie.
What about the Han Solo movie? It cut out on me. I want to make sure. no, for real, the sound cut off, and I just want to make sure I heard what I heard. So you said that was you said that was the best.
That from Disney, yes.
I like Han Solo. I didn't have a problem with it. Let me see this shout out real quick. What's up, Active Gamer Life? Welcome to the show. All right,
Force Awakens was a retelling of New Hope.
It was, and it was good. It was, and it was good.
I like a New
There
Hope.
was nothing shocking or surprising about it. It didn't. I don't know.
But it wasn't the prequels. That was good enough. For real, bro. It wasn't the prequels. That was good enough. That made everybody go crazy.
Okay.
But
Rogue One movie was irrelevant.
But it was the best though. It was the
I
best.
like Rogue One. I like that one.
Rogue One was the best story. I'm sorry, it was the best acting. Rogue One was better than.
no.
You trying to get some sleep.
No, Rogue One had tremendous special effects. I love the special effects in that movie. I love the action scenes in that movie. I could give a rat's you know what about any of character that was in that movie. Nobody in that movie grabbed me at all.
It doesn't matter.
You know what? The droid was the only character that I cared about in that whole movie. A droid.
They all dead. You don't got to care about nobody, man. They dead.
The only character that had any personality, that had any warmth whatsoever, that I cared what happened to him, was a daggone droid.
Right.
So you didn't like the fake Jedi?
The ninja.
Nope. The force.
You talking about IP man? IP man?
Yeah, IP man.
I love him as an actor. I love Donnie Yen. I mean, I can't wait to see it.
You didn't like fake Jedi?
Ip Man 4 is looking like a beast. Okay. Go ahead. No, finish. Then we're gonna move to these topics.
No. I mean, that movie it has so much potential, but to me, it was like a lot of setup for fan service. I mean, you got to see the Darth Vader scene was definitely the highlight of that movie. Him in that hallway.
That was lit, bro.
Yeah. That was the best part of the movie for me. I just watched that part over and over again.
That's funny.
So okay, well, I guess we got it all started. So let's get into this. What you've been gaming on? Here you go, K-Bomb.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. You know what time it is? It's time for What Have You Been Gaming On? Sing it, folks. Let's go.
Come on now.
Hey. What you been gaming on? 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 Said it, I gotta sing on Sundays. What you been gaming on? What you been gaming on? Gaming on, gaming on, gaming on.
I'm going platinum, bro. Double platinum.
So starting with you, K-Bomb 20, since you talking. What you been gaming on, bro?
What I've been gaming on. Yeah. So I've been gaming on just the usual. I gotta switch up my repertoire of games, and hopefully this holiday season can get me into some new games. But been Madden 2K Overwatch is where I've been. I gotta hop on that GameFly and give me some more games so I can try it out. I have the Spider-Man. I have it. I just have not sat down and given the time to play it.
Okay.
I don't know. I just don't feel like diving into a story that long.
What is that about? A 30, 40 hour game?
Well, I think I have the DLC too.
Oh, so okay? Yeah.
Yeah, I got all of it.
So Madden, Overwatch, you haven't played Spider-Man. What else?
2K.
2K. So
and a little bit of FIFA, and I'm gonna. Matter of fact, I told myself I was gonna do it, but I didn't do it this weekend. I have that EA Access. I'm gonna give that Need for Speed game a try. Need for Speed, it's on EA Access. So I'm about to give that a try this week.
Okay. The new one. What is it?
Yeah, Heat. I believe it's Heat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
gonna give that
bare bones
a try.
Need for Speed. They say it's good, but it's like a throwback to the older Need for Speed. That's what
If that's what they're doing, then that is excellent.
Okay.
Hey, you mean the Underground series? Or the
that's the earlier, like the early PS1, PS2. Yeah, them days.
Well, PS2 was started with the Underground, I believe, the first PS2 one, or the best PS2 ones. They're doing that. That's straight.
Okay. All right. So since you're on that Overwatch, what's your thoughts on this Overwatch 2?
I think they're doing it the best way they can. I think they're doing a great job with Overwatch 2. Because Because honestly, what they've actually said is that if you don't care about the not single player, if you don't care about what kind of game is this? It is a story-driven multiplayer piece. If you don't care about that, you can stay on Overwatch 1 and get all the content you're going to get in Overwatch 2. It's really not a, to be honest with you, it's really not a sequel. It's really an expansion. Okay. They're calling it a sequel, but the way that it works just like an expansion. So
all right.
I'm happy for it. It is the right way. So
okay. All right. Mr. D2K, what you been gaming on, bro?
I've been gaming on that Modern Warfare.
Oh yeah, I get that too.
Yeah, we need to hear that. We need to hear your thoughts on it. You talked about it kind of last week, but kind of touch on it again.
It's as close to next gen as any game is this generation, in my opinion. Absolutely incredible. I can't even do it justice by describing what I'm seeing because this is just that immersive. I need a new computer so I can play this game properly because I have an up-to-date GPU and I have a lot of memory and whatever, but my CPU is kind of long in the tooth and I think it's starting to show its age a little bit, so I need to upgrade just to be able to run it. I mean, it runs smooth, at 1080p, 60 frames per second, but I want that 4K look. Because when I run it in 4K, it looks just, it looks ridiculous. Revolting.
hey, tell K-Bomb what you got, bro, because he wasn't here the episode you was on when you kind of let me and Keith and Jedi know the TV you got. So let them know, bro.
Oh well, I have a Samsung a Samsung Q70R.
It's the 70. Okay, the 70R. Yep.
R. Yeah. Because I've gotten the. I think we talked about.
Yeah,
this
we talked
before.
about it, but K-Bun wasn't on.
Yeah, I was there.
Told him, and he didn't get a chance to hear it.
Yeah. I had picked up like it was a TCL. No, it wasn't TCL. It was a different one. I wish I had the
Hisky, something like that.
Hisense. That's what it was. Hisense.
Yep.
And that TV was trash. So I took it back to the store, and I got this TV, and I'm loving it. It is absolutely beautiful. Just the blackest of blacks. 4K stuff looks amazing.
Well,
even go ahead.
No, one question I was going to ask you is, do you notice any blooming?
What's blooming?
Blooming is when you have a bright image against a dark background.
Does it look like fuzzy or something like that?
It's like a halo around the image. Yeah. You see any of that?
No.
Okay, cool.
Not really. I don't think I haven't. It's not something that stood out to me.
That's good enough then. If it doesn't stand out, that's good enough. Cool.
Y'all both got some superb TVs, man. I'm just envious of both of you guys because right now daycare is taking all my extra money. But in a year I'll be able to be with you guys. But until then, Sony just had to do. But no,
Sony's are good too, man. Sony's are good too.
Yeah.
Well, it's not about the brand name necessarily. For me, I would, if I didn't do Samsung, I was gonna do Sony. Because I trust Sony.
Like y'all got
top end. It's top high end TV.
I got a mid tier. Mine's like right below, like maybe 2 or 3 notches below both of your TV.
No, is it the 900? Which one you got?
Yeah.
The 900? No, that's mid tier. That's one below.
Yeah, it's like it's mid tier.
It's mid tier.
Yeah, but I want the top tier. See what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I don't want
but
mid-tier.
The 900 is the best.
Listen. I don't want mid tier. I see top tier. I don't need.
Listen.
I don't want mid-tier no more. I told you I went to your house and just been hurt ever since. And then D2K come on here talking about glorious it's ridiculousness. Now I gotta go upstairs and keep watching my TV that my daughter unscratched. I'm mad, man. I'm stuck with a 4K TV that's scratched on the bottom. I'm
man.
just upset,
That's
but
funny.
anyway, I deal with it. But no,
I don't want me here.
but anyway, go ahead, Keith.
Man.
What you done, D2? We just took over your spot.
No, I wasn't actually.
Go ahead. I caught myself.
Just the Modern Warfare is amazing. It feels like it's as close to a war simulation that you could possibly get in a game. Playing a lot of Gears 5. I finally finished the campaign with that.
Nice.
Been playing a lot of Horde mode. That game runs ridiculously smooth on this TV, and I think that's about it. I mean, I've been more busy in the past couple of weeks. So I've just haven't really had a lot of time to game, but that Modern Warfare is scary. It's actually backed me off of it because I'm not even ready for this. It's that intense. It really is. I'm in the room. I'm like ducking bullets for real because I feel like I'm in a wartime series. It's like, man, woo.
That's crazy.
My man ain't ready for it.
On that 70-inch, you probably ain't. You running the PC on that too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You really getting it.
They had good PC mode on that TV.
What I can tell, yeah. I mean, everything runs perfectly smooth. I mean,
Good.
all the games that I own that can take full advantage, like Batman Arkham Knight, is again, it's revolting, it's sickening, it's disgusting. I mean, when you climb to the highest point that you can in the city, and you look at everything, look at it in 4K, the draw distance, the intricate details of like the water on his cape, and when he takes off, and all the little droplets of water that splash off, and ew.
Gotta touch it. What in the world?
That's how I think you sound right now.
Gotta touch yourself on all that. Good Lord. Jeez. All right, I'm done.
Hold up, man.
All those graphics, man. Jeez. Pause.
Okay.
Pause.
So let's go.
Great description, brother. Great description.
Let's go to Keith Norris, man. What you been gaming on, bro?
All right, I just got in the house. Hold on 1 second.
All right. K-Ball.
All right, Norman's up. Okay.
That one.
Do what I can, bro.
All right, what have I been gaming on? Been gaming on that Luigi's Mansion,
For sure.
and I bought. Huh? What you say?
I thought you
Not
wanted
that
show.
show. My bad.
I thought you wanted cheers. I messed up. Let me send a shout out real quick. Mario Poking Nerd. What's up, bro? Welcome to the show. Mario Poking Nerd. Okay, hold up. You're going to have to give us some explanation on his name.
Yeah.
Mario Poking Nerd. If I'm saying it right, explain. I'm going to give people details on his name. But welcome to the show. Go ahead, Keith.
I've been gaming on that Astro Chain.
Okay, I'm ready to hear this.
Oh shoot, that cat scared the crap out of me. I haven't really played too much to get like a true feel of it. I think I'm at the part where I'm about to do like a tutorial of how to control the what are they called?
The Legions? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm about to go through a tutorial. So yeah. And man, I was sitting there listening to the story and listening to that dude talking. I was like, I don't really feel like this right now.
Wait a minute, you didn't want none of that voice acting going on?
No, I wasn't really feeling it at the moment.
Okay.
And I've been playing a little bit of that Death Stranding. No, I'm playing. I haven't touched it.
We about to talk about it. That's gonna be basically our conversation for the most part. Go ahead though.
But yeah, no, that's it.
Okay.
That's all I've been gaming on.
Since Luigi's Mansion is one of our conversations topics. Let's go into it because that's basically what I've been gaming on is Luigi's Mansion for the last. When did that come out? A week ago. So the last week.
Halloween.
Yeah, Halloween. So the 31st to now, I didn't play it on Halloween. I played it that Friday. So I didn't really play it on that Thursday, but I bought it. To not belabor this too long, what was your thoughts on Luigi's Mansion, bro? What are your thoughts?
So, my thoughts on Luigi's Mansion is it is one fantastically highly produced game from Nintendo. The production value, the graphics, the quality, the controls. Once you figure out how to get comfortable with the controls, if you haven't played a Luigi's Mansion or you haven't played one in a while, it does kind of take some time to get used to. But the opening scene, I wasn't even ready for that. I was like, oh shoot, this game feels like it can sit right alongside any Pixar, DreamWorks movie, even though it's a game. Excuse me?
K-Bone, you so dirty one, man.
Nah, bro. Nah, yeah, I knew you gonna say that. That is not why I called, man.
Perfectly
I heard the
timed.
call.
Oh, the
Bro.
call. We hear you,
Bro.
bro.
It was the worst time for the call. I promise you.
The hate cops are on the way, man.
I promise you, bro. I was
Hate
not
cops.
coughing because of what he said, man.
They coming
I
to get
promise
you,
you,
bro.
man.
I call foul,
Hate
Mr.
cops.
K-Bone.
I promise you, man. I was not coughing for what he said. Dang.
No, but like seriously, like if you ever decided to gamify this game, you'll see the production part. Man, Nintendo did a fantastic job. I can't say that the story is like revolutionary because you can tell that they basically are rehashing and giving Luigi even a reason to even be in the mansion. Look at this guy.
I'm gonna have to mute myself when I cough then, because y'all tripping.
We're gonna have to
Let
get
a
a
brother
cough.
cough.
But yeah, those are my and the Luigi character thing. That I think that's added some definite puzzle scratches because I think I'm doing a puzzle right now that I'm kind of like stuck on, but it's not a hard game, but like I said, it does take some time to get used to. I think I died maybe once, yeah, but I had a dog bone, so it brought me back to life. So it's a pretty good game.
Okay. Anything else before I jump in on this Luigi's Mansion?
Yeah, it needs voice acting, but that's about it.
That's true. That's true.
That was real. That was real.
I would say this, man. Luigi's Mansion is living up to actually it's exceeding my expectation. It's a good game. Voice acting is pretty much, you hear my kids. Do y'all hear my girls? Because I can hear them. Anyway, the voice acting is the only, it's noticeably, you can tell that this should have had voice acting. Like, I know Nintendo want to do all the, the Charlie Brown wants, but I think they need to go ahead and add some words to these characters, some voiced out word play to these characters, man, because this game, to me, that's the only critique I have for it. When I put it in, of course, my daughter was ready for it, and I surprised her with it, and she loving it. And but my younger daughters gathered around the TV, set up like all they needed was some popcorn, because that's how it looks. The presentation is like a Netflix movie. It feels like that, and the visuals is stunning. I'm really am impressed that Nintendo is able to pull this off with this type of lighting effects. That it's lit, the way it's lit up, the shadows, the ambience, the atmosphere that it sets up. It's really moody. It really captures that feel. I'm gonna be honest. I jumped when the dog did something that made me jump. I ain't gonna front. And then my first time opening one of the cabinets or something, I jumped. But it ain't scary. But it does have some spots where you ain't really paying attention. And it catches you off guard. Luigi's animate, his actions, the way his facial expressions and his it's interesting. It's like his voice acted because it has a few words. Keith kind of said this in the hangout. I thought he was gonna mention it again here, but I mentioned it. He can take over and add to it if you want to. But it is kind of voiced. It got some, like Luigi actually say words beyond Mario. He expresses himself. You can really tell that Nintendo can take this a whole nother step if they wanted to. And I think they should entertain. A game like this should be voiced out completely. Each character should have a voice. But the way Luigi moves when he gets scared, his quivering, his knees shaking, especially when he get real scared and he's stiffen up. You know what I'm talking about, Keith, when he's stiffen up. it's pretty cool. And another thing,
he walk like he's straight.
Yeah. I also like how the music is. Like when
my gosh,
the music is ridiculous, dude. Like,
ooh.
I went on that one stage. I think it's the fifth floor, and I had cleared it. But then when you come back through, it's some new ghost on the stage. But the way the music is, you can hear the ghost talking. Maybe like sometimes they're looking at portraits or looking at themselves in the mirror or messing with something. And things would be stacked up different when you come out. Like a broom would just be floating somewhere for no reason, or chairs would be stacked up on top of you. A whole bunch of paranormal activity happening every time you come in and out of these rooms. But the music and I don't even think Nintendo has surround sound, but it doesn't. It sounds like it does with my speakers. It sounds like it is in surround sound, even though I know it's stereo. But the sound is amazing. The visuals are stunning, especially for a Switch title. You can see some of the jaggies and different things like that. I won't lie. What Alex saying? He said, "Y'all talking about that heck? What, man? Alex? What you talking about, bro? You in here talking, but I don't know what you talking about. Anyway, I think the game is excellent, man. I'm enjoying it right now. I just beat the dude that's in the piano, and that brother was giving me the business. I'm not gonna front. The controls is another thing that takes a little while to get used to. Not that, like, you discovered that you could do the same thing that's mapped to the front face buttons. You could do those with the trigger buttons, but it's really the right analog stick is kind of wonky at times. I think it's best to use the gyro motion to look up and down, because it was throwing me off, man. Like trying to control, and both basically got control of Luigi, and you just turn around in 360 all the time if you ain't watching yourself. But other than that, I think the game is good. Voice chat needs to be. This game desperately needs voice chat. It'll take this game to a whole another level. I also, out of curiosity, went back and played Odyssey just to see, how the game looked compared to this Luigi's Mansion. And I forgot how good Odyssey looked. Like, I was like, dang, this game looked good too. So, I don't know, man. Nintendo has been doing some amazing things with their first party titles on this platform. But that's good. I played Super Lucky Tales. I downloaded the demo. My daughter wanted to play it. I downloaded. She liked it. She done got into it. So I plan on getting it for Christmas. But anyway, that's a good game. I enjoyed it a little bit. I played, mostly watched her play it. What else did I play? I need to go ahead and finish up Link's Awakening. But outside of that, it's been Luigi's Mansion all this week. So enjoying it. Definitely worth buying. Go ahead.
I got a quick question, and I mean this with all sincerity. So don't get the wilding out Nintendo fans.
Oh, this is K-Bone. Listen to him. Let me get myself ready.
It's just a question, man. Just a question.
You on the clock, man.
No, just a question.
Hurry up, bro.
Luigi Mansion, that's just Ghostbusters, right?
Basically.
That's Ghostbusters.
Yeah, they stole a lot from Ghostbusters. Like, even the main dude is basically his name is it's a play on is Egag, meaning Igor. Eeyore. Is it Eeyore? How you say that dude's name in Ghostbusters?
Egon.
Egon, there it is. Thank you, D2. So yeah, it's a lot of stolen stuff from Ghostbusters. You right on the money.
So, I mean, I see more similarities to the actual original Ghostbusters idea, which was actually on the Filmation version of the Ghostbusters cartoon, which I hated, but that was actually the original idea from Dan Aykroyd and the other person that came with the idea. It's more similar to that than the one that we like, which is with the Venkman and the race stands and Egon and Winston and all them folks, you know.
Yeah, it reminds me.
But it's definitely.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
But I think it takes more from that version of Ghostbusters than the more fleshed out one.
Right. To me, it reminds me of when they first got called. Not the one when they was in the library and the woman was downstairs, but when they went to the hotel, and what was that Sphinx or whatever that thing, the green. He got
Slimer.
Slimer. I don't remember the name. But it'll put you into like K-Bum. If you think of that scene and how they were in that, that's right. Exactly what Luigi's Mansion is. That's what it is. It's that scene made into a game.
And I got a quote. I got a quote from Miyamoto.
Go ahead.
Miyamoto said, "I am a fan of Ghostbusters. That wasn't the inspiration for the original Luigi's Mansion."
He
in
lying.
Fact, when we
don't
developing...
need to read no more. We don't need to listen no more. He lying.
Please don't sue us. Man. Please don't sue us. That's what he's saying.
He lying. He know that. There ain't no way.
Because he knows that Ghostbusters is a property of Sony. And
is that where you going, K-Bum?
Yeah.
No, everything ain't about no Sony.
Okay. All right.
I wasn't going there. I had a legit question, man. It wasn't nothing behind it, no secret agenda. I just wanted to know. I've never played the game. The game looks boring as crap to me. I've never played it, and I just wanted to ask that question.
We're talk about a boring game here in a second, but anyway.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right, so anything else on Luigi's Mansion? I'm trying to see if anybody's saying anything in the comment section. Alex, what's up, Alex, man? Welcome to the show. Jesus. It's my fault, bro. I had that too loud. But yeah, welcome to the show, bro. Anything else on this title? I think it's good, man. I think it's the best offer from Nintendo first party this year, to be honest with you. It's that good. To me, Luigi's Mansion has moved out of that second tier with this title into, to me, this should be considered amongst the top tier titles from Nintendo. Like, they should start treating Luigi's Mansion like they treat Odyssey. I would
go a step further, is that maybe they should lean more on Luigi than Mario going forward. Give Mario a rest.
That too. I mean, that's a possibility. I'm just saying, like, you got the Zelda, the Mario, Smash Bros, Mario Kart. Those are those, and I guess you can kind of try to throw Metroid in there. I don't even think Metroid is that anymore because it doesn't do it in the sales. But as far as the appeal and what people look for, Metroid to be up there too. And then Luigi's Mansion kind of exists in a plane down there under that, like with Pikmin and maybe some of them other titles. But I think Luigi's Mansion, after this title, should move up there to the Marios and the Zeldas and be treated like that, if that makes sense. So...
Man, we might as well go ahead and get. We might as well get Princess Peach a game.
That too.
What does she do? What does she do when she captured? Are you trying to escape? Or are you just sitting there waiting?
I was gonna say something, but I'm not gonna say something.
No thanks.
Nope.
Anyway, okay, so all right, so we done with what we've been gaming on because we unspent the this man. We got to get going. So let's get into these topics. So we already uncovered Luigi's Mansion. We don't have to talk about that. Let me do this real quick. What did y'all think about Terry Bogard with the Super Smash Bros. Direct? How did y'all enjoy that? I thought what old boy did. What's his name?
Sakurai.
Sakurai. Yeah. What he did was cool. I thought that was cool. How he introduced Neo Geo. How you introduce SNK and all that stuff to bring in Terry and explain to the younger kids and the younger generation who are, wet behind the ears, still got diapers on and all that in gaming, who this guy is. I thought that was cool. But outside of that, the character looked dope. I mean, I'm not a big Smash Brothers guy. I got the game, but I don't play it. I need to play it, but I don't play it. I don't know why I don't play it, but I'm never drawn to play it, so maybe I don't need the game. Should I trade the game? What y'all think? I know I said a lot there, but hope y'all can filter all what I just said.
Nah.
Okay.
No, I mean, if they're still coming out with DLC for it and you don't have to pay for it, why would you get rid of the game?
Welcome to the show, Bad Latency. Welcome to the show, Keith Norris. No, I'm just.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So, what y'all think about that, Terry? Anything, or we just move on? Y'all good? Not good? Care less?
I appreciate him showing his fandom of that series and really talking about it. You could tell he was a true fan of the SNK property. So I just appreciate him, stepping outside of the Nintendo norm and showing his true fandom for other properties.
Okay.
They were very consistent with his design as well. They have him with his ridiculously huge arms. I don't even know how he could possibly move with arms that big, but yeah, they definitely kept that with his character design in this.
It impresses me that it seems that Sakurai's done more with these characters than their own owners, their own studios that own the IPs. Like Ryu right now, I think is getting more shine in Smash Bros. Than he's getting in the PlayStation 4 version of Street Fighter right now.
Yeah, I was very impressed in how they designed Ryu for Smash Bros. Very impressive.
Right.
His play mechanics were spot on point. His design was cool. If you were playing, when you use him in Smash Bros, it doesn't feel like
a knockoff.
It feels just like if you were playing. If you just take him right out of Smash and put him in Street Fighter and do the same moves and it'll work the same way. Right. So they did a good job with that.
And I like that, man. It's like Smash is becoming the place to be for characters. Like everybody wants their character in Smash. Like this will make you, man. This is where you kind of get known. Like I think Smash is doing some incredible things. I'm not gonna lie. I like Smash, but I'm not the hugest Smash player. But I do like the game. But anyway, any more thoughts on this, and we can move into what we're here to talk about, because everything else we're talking about is dealing with Death Stranding and this controversy around this title, the love, the hate, the confusion, all of it. Are y'all ready to move to the main topic?
Let's do it.
All right. So, Death Stranding released Friday? Was it Friday?
I think so.
Okay, so it's been out. It's released Friday, so it's been out for like 2 days now. But the reviews for Death Stranding were released almost a week ago. And these reviews have had basically has taken over gaming for right now. The conversation has been around Death Stranding, Kojima and his artistic expression, his storytelling. Like this game is really challenging the concept of what a game is, what a game can be. The reviews were very mixed. A lot of reviews seemed like to conflict with itself in the score versus what the reviewer said. A lot of similar sentiments across the review spectrum, and yet it sits at about an 85 or 84 on Metacritic right now. But a lot of folks are confused with this game. Some are upset, some are loving it. So the question is, there's several questions here. None of us has played the game, so we come basically our whole conversation is based off of the reviews. I'm gonna start with D2K. Once you started hearing the feedback from this game, bro, and what folks were saying about it, what were your thoughts with Death Stranding?
Exactly what I said was going to happen. That's exactly what I said was going to happen. When you have somebody who is trying to be too existential, and putting too much.
What?
I'm not gonna.
No, I was trying to get that word. I didn't understand that word. I'm sorry, that was too big for me.
He's trying to existential.
Is that doing too much? Is kind of what you're saying?
Extra central. I know the word, but
It's basically trying to be too smart for your own good.
Cool. Thank you.
He's injecting too much of his own postmodern humanism type ideals into the game to where, it's almost like it's what he wants to say. He's trying to tell you who he is as a human being through his games. And I can sum it up real easy. You're a weirdo. That's pretty much what it is. I mean, we understand that, and there's nothing wrong with being a weirdo, but that's what you are. And I don't need that in a video game. The purpose of making video games, obviously, as an artist, you want to be able to have artistic freedom to do what you want to do. But at the end of the day, you're trying to make money. And you have to understand that there are very, very, very few people in the world who are going to either get what you're saying or care about what you're saying. And you have to kind of streamline that and kind of not go overboard with it. It's okay to drop little subtle hints here and there, just sprinkle it here and there, just a little bit, but you have to be more conventional when you're thinking and think about the broader sense of everybody and giving something everybody can understand, everybody can enjoy. And this is not what this game is all about. This game is basically him just, painting a picture on a canvas, what he wants to see, what he wants to believe. And if you like it, fine. If you don't, but that's not going to make you money. For me, it's like I don't know what's happening in the game. I don't care about what's happening in the game. It's very weird. It's like Prometheus. It's like what's that movie with that was Chris Nolan movie with the space?
Oh,
what was it? No, it was something. I forgot what it was. When they were like, no, it was like an alternate dimension or something, where like in the library or something. It was weird. I forgot whatever it was. Interstellar. That's what it was. It's like that type of stuff where it's like you're trying too hard to be unique, and it just falls flat. And there's not much else I can really say about it.
Okay. So that's just your initial thoughts. We got more to go, so we're gonna cover a lot on this topic. So K-Bum,
yeah, I did want to touch on a couple of things what D2K said, because there do have some disagreements with that. With I don't believe you have to make a game that's following norms, or I mean, to me, we don't get some great ideas by doing stuff that's along the path with everyone else. Like you need people to think outside the box. You need people to try new things. I mean, that's Nintendo's whole motive. Is doing weird things and doing things, their way, because that's the way they want to do things. And not following norms.
I think you misinterpret what I said. I didn't say that. Actually, in what I actually said, I think I said that you do have to be different in certain areas, but you can't cut off the foundation of what works and replace that with something that's unconventional.
And that's I'm also disagreeing with that. I'm not.
It's kind of like in football. You have certain football players that have special. They're special. They're special players. They have different personalities. Like you look at like a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
This dude is throwing the ball. He's throwing no-look passes. He's throwing across his body and doing all kinds of stuff. All kinds of crazy things that you're not supposed to do.
He does it,
and it works.
Right.
But in order for him to do those things, he had to learn the right way to play the quarterback position.
That's a good.
He has the foundation.
I like that.
He has the foundation of doing it the way you're supposed to do it. And then he can ad lib and make it look special. That's how you stand out. And that's coming from an artist. What we have to learn is we have to understand how, if you're drawing people, for example, you have to understand how actual anatomy works. You have to understand how to draw a skeleton. You have to understand muscle structure. You have to understand light and shadow. You have to understand foreshortening. You have to understand perspective. You have to understand the rule of thirds. So that way, when the person looks at your figure, they don't say something's wrong here. But once
I
you
agree
get
with
that
that, but
down,
I don't think that's what's going on with Death Stranded.
hang on. But once you
Go ahead.
get that down, now you can go off into a different direction and make it different and put your own spin on it and make it look totally different. But the foundation of what it should be is still there. And to me, with Death Stranding, there's too much of ad lib in this and not enough of what makes the game actually fun to play.
Look, I said this is just our first thought, so we about
Yeah,
to get
no
into
problem.
it.
I'm gonna jump. I'll jump quickly to my. I didn't really go into my thoughts.
Go ahead. I just want to turn it over to you. Get your thoughts out.
No, it's fine. I see the point, and I do see where you're coming from. I will slightly disagree, but I'm not going to go into it because we don't have time to go back and forth on that. But I will give my thoughts about Death Stranding really quickly. I do think this product is due to the thing is the way I picture Kojima is. To me, what he's doing right now in his game is very similar to the career of Will Smith. In the beginning, he was, hitting things out the park, and then he tried different things later in his career. You know what I'm saying? He tried to do some certain movies that just did not work. And so when you look back at the body of work of Will Smith, you start to question it. You start to, even though he's had some amazing early works, what he's done at the beginning. But if you're just going based off, what Will Smith's career is, lately is he's done way more bad movies than he's done good movies, and it's been very rare to actually see a good Will Smith movie. And to me, it's very similar to Kojima's career. I mean, from Metal Gear 1 to 4 were excellent games. Even the ones he did on the PSP, the one he did on the Vita. Even Zone of Enders was the cult classic, where people may not really know too much about it. Until he got to Metal Gear Solid 5. I don't know what he was doing in Metal Gear Solid 5. That is the first main console Metal Gear Solid I did not play. And then this game, which I think is a continuation of what he was doing in Metal Gear Solid 5. So for me, for Death Stranded, I think he was trying to paint a picture, and he was trying to draw something that he likes. He was trying to make something that he liked, and I think he succeeded. But to D2K point, you have to make something that the masses are going to like, and that they are going to buy. And I don't think he successfully did that. He created a game that is very polarizing, that has people passionately on both sides. And as a game producer, I don't know how that always turns into money. So, I mean, but I said this from the very beginning. I thought the game was going to be a niche game, and I thought the people who were going to like it was going to love it, and the people who were going to hate it were going to absolutely hate it. And I think he succeeded in making a niche game.
Let me send a shout out to Dark Sun Rider real quick. What's up, Dark Sun? Welcome to the show.
Before you go with that kind of reminds me of a quote that I heard from Ryan Johnson, the guy who directed The Last Jedi. He literally said that his goal was to make a movie not where everybody loved it, but where it will be 100% polarizing to where a whole bunch of people hated it and a whole bunch of people loved it. Wow. He literally said that.
He did that. Good job.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Great job.
Because I got something I want to say. It's something that D2K triggered a thought of mine that I want to get out, but I want to bring Keith in first. Go ahead, Keith. What's your thoughts, initial thoughts with Death Stranding and, what was being said about it from the different reviewers that had released their review early or a week ago?
Yeah, I mean, it's very. I guess I'm gonna be very consistent with everyone else, in that he's telling a story, probably a story that needs to be told in a Kojima way, but he didn't create the the game to support that story in a way. He was like, oh, here's a story. It's so incredible. Here's the idea of what I want to do to get from point A to point B, but he couldn't come up with something unique as far as like gameplay. Um, so
I
in
think the
essence,
gameplay is unique. I just think it's trash. The gameplay is unique. I mean, the way that you have to, if you actually saw the way he broke down how you have to level the packages you're carrying, and the weight matters, and you have to make sure you have shoes and certain stuff for, like, that aspect of the game is unique, but it's boring.
so is Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Didn't. But yeah, I agree to that. But at the core of it, there's. I mean, I guess that it would be unique. I mean, I was going to try to say that at the core, you just running from point A to point B. But I guess trying to figure out how you want to get from point A to point B is the game. I don't know. I think this is one of those
It is the
games.
game within the game. Is getting the point A to point
Yeah,
B.
Mhm.
yeah. I think this is going to be one of those games that where people obviously aren't used to, because we're used to being able to play a game, pick it up, understand it, play it for X amount of hours, put it down, and pick up another one. And here we're faced with a game that we have to give a little bit more attention to, and it can be boring. You know what I mean? It can be not fun or traditional. Uh, but I think it's one of those games where you can like really get invested in the story and try to give it. I'm not trying to give the game a pass, because I know the reviewers were they were saying one thing and giving it scores a different way. Like they don't do it like they used to do. I think I said this in the chat, where they would take the visual, sound, the gameplay, or entertainment, or whatever, or fun factor,
Wow
or
factor.
they used to have another one. I guess it was like how the game was going to be, play replay value. That's what it is.
Replay
They
value.
used to take all of those scores and then give the average. They don't do that anymore. So I guess this game is kind of like, yo, maybe we should go back to that, because it'll get high marks on visuals and storytelling, but gameplay wise, it may not get that same attention, and then those
May.
scores should reflect that. I mean, even the game within the game could be fun to some people,
To some
but
people, I agree.
but it should have been an average. So when you're saying things like the game isn't fun or I got bored with it, there were people who were reviewing the game that literally said, I can't finish this game. So when you have those when you have those type of people talking about this game, but then you see the scores and people are giving it nines and tens, it's incredible.
It, it,
I
that's
understand the score.
that's the
Huh?
controversy. That's the
That's
issue.
the controversy.
That's the controversy. So first of all, there's something that D2K said that made me think of something. I thought it was interesting. He used Patrick Mahomes as an example of going outside of the norms and the standards, and doing abnormal, against the grain things, but he's able to do that because he first learned how to do the norm and the established way. So because he understands the norm and established way, he can venture outside of that and go against it when the time calls for it. And I think Kojima is not that. He's not Patrick Mahomes, because Kojima from his core is really not a game maker. When I say to this, Keith put a video up and it proved what my thoughts was about Kojima the whole time. Kojima's heartbeat is movies. His passion is movies. Games just became a vehicle for him to express his movie ideas. So when you look at the first games that he made, Kojima was just tasked with putting story to gameplay.
That's a high disagree. If you look at all the gameplay things that were introduced in Metal Gear Solid, that was
No,
stolen
wait a
by
minute, but
everyone
that's my
else.
point. The video showed that Kojima had a team that was tasked with basically bringing gameplay to his stories. Kojima ain't the person that's programming, that's making the game. He's making the story for the game. He's the person that's getting the ideas of what he want in the game, and then you go off and you try to realize it via gameplay as he develops story and where the game is going to progress to.
Fair enough.
He's not Miyamoto. Miyamoto is Patrick Mahomes. Miyamoto knows the foundation of game making, and every now and again does something odd to that, and we get something like Pikmin. See what I'm saying? Star Fox. We get, then we get a mess up like Star Fox Zero. we get a mess up like we music. But Miyamoto knows the foundation of making games, so you could give him that pass. The problem with Kojima, and it just dawned on me in that video that Keith put up. Kojima does not make games. He makes storylines in the game. He's over the story and the progression of the game, but everybody else is developing the actual game. He didn't come in as a designer he didn't come in learning how to do the groundwork of gameplay and how to make this character do this and that in the game. No, he came in with a storyline for what was Metal Gear Solid. He created the story that made Metal Gear Solid what it was. He did not design the gameplay around it. So what we're seeing, so this is what I think happened. And we're going to get into this. I think it's going to progress to these other topics. What I think happened is Kojima, as he got bigger and bigger budgets because of the success of his story, coupled with, on par gameplay.
Excellent gameplay. Well,
excellent gameplay. The fame of Kojima kept getting bigger. And, of course, the budget kept getting bigger. But as the budget kept getting bigger, Kojima mind ain't going to go gameplay or the game. He's going to go, man, I can tell this cutscene, or I can do this great thing over here. He going to go movie. He going to go to that, and that's where his attention going to be, and just tack some type of gameplay on to get us to that next cutscene. He ain't worried about the in-between the story. Just do something to get us through the story. Do something to get Snake from this point to this point so it can trigger this cutscene so they can get the rest of the story. And you started to see that in his games. Like, as more money and more budget came into the play, less and less actual gameplay became was taken serious. It became a movie over gameplay. It became a movie with tones of gameplay under it. Now we have what we have in Death Stranding, which is basically a movie, and everything you're doing in the game is just to get to the next part of that movie. That's Kojima.
I agree.
So I don't know where I want to go.
But the thing is, the issue sounds like that he doesn't have the right people under him to redirect or make sure that he's producing a video game.
That's why he's not at Konami no more. That's why he's not there. Go ahead.
It kind of begs the question that, because if we're going from the narrative of him, which I agree with, that he's basically a movie producer in a game developer's world, that why wouldn't Sony take that to their advantage and use him to produce movies from their studio?
I don't think they knew. I don't, me personally,
to me, it seems like a match made in heaven. I mean, if you really think about it. I mean, that's real easy. You got somebody there that could be your next.
But he weird.
I don't know. I don't know. Well, there's a lot of weird directors like Chris Nolan.
There's
like,
a lot of
what's his name? M. Night Shyamalan. And,
old boy, to make Pulp Fiction. What the freak?
Quentin Tarantino. You know,
it's super weird.
Yep. So there's definitely a market out there for his type of ideas. They can make a lot of money off of his ideas. So that may be the direction that they need to go with him. I think that's where he would probably be. I think he would be happier there. And I think that somebody needs to get a hold from Sony and say, look, this is not where you want to be. We got a movie studio for you. We're gonna get everything together. We're gonna start making some movies based off of your ideas. That's what we finna do.
Okay.
I think he needs a collaborator. I think he needs another high-profile collaborator where I think that you basically said it, where he could just focus on the story, and then you have that high-profile mind of a person focusing on the gameplay. Because I wouldn't want his stories to be taken away from games. Like
No, that's not exactly. I'm not saying it. I think he is a great storyteller, but because he's at the helm of the game, you're getting all your direction from him. If he's over the game, the production of the game, so is his ideal, is his baby. What do I do when all my cues is coming from you? So you want to make a mail delivery game based around an excellent story. Somebody should have said, well, Kojima, that don't sound, on paper, that don't sound good. So it definitely don't sound good in actuality. But who gonna tell Kojima, just like this is Miyamoto's problem, who could tell Miyamoto that Wii music was a horrible idea? Who could tell the genius that is Miyamoto that? Who could tell Miyamoto, hey man, maybe this gamepad to screen stuff you trying to do in Star Fox Zero just ain't a good idea. No, he must have some genius that we ain't seeing. So don't give him the money and let him do. This is Miyamoto. That's what happened to Kojima. Kojima, nobody can tell Kojima, dude, this ain't working. Cause somewhere, and you see it and to me you see it in the reviews. The reviews trying to figure out, is something got to be wrong with me? I'm missing it in the game. Not the game is wrong. I'm missing it. I don't understand his genius. So even though I didn't enjoy the experience, the story is so good, I must have just didn't understand how good the gameplay was. So I'm going to give it a 9 or 8.5 or 10 because it's Kojima and his story is amazing, but I didn't enjoy the game that came along with the story. But yeah, go ahead.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of what happened with George Lucas with the prequel movies. If you go back to the original, I call it the original trilogy, even though it's episodes 4, 5, and 6. But most people would say that The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi were the two best Star Wars movies of the entire timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Correct those movies.
Okay.
So there is something to be said that genius has to be put in check. You have to have checks and balances no matter how good or how creative somebody is. And with George Lucas being the architect of the Star Wars universe, even he needed somebody to say, that might not be a good idea. We might need to go this direction. And it wound up being two amazing movies. But when it was all him with the prequel movies, they were awful.
Trash.
And now without him at all, and you have all kinds of people jumping in and out, it's even worse. Because, you let Rian Johnson have free reign in this last movie. That was awful. And then we're hearing what we're hearing about the new one that's coming out. So, you have to have somebody who has an idea or direction that you're going and one other person to just make sure that they don't go off course.
Right. And I can see Konami looking at these titles like, we throwing this dude millions on top of millions of dollars. And this dude coming back with 2-hour cutscenes, 45-minute cutscenes. It's like, bro, we didn't pay.
It wasn't even that then. At that point, it was the fact that he was concentrating so hard on his engine that he can reproduce rocks in a natural way. That was the issue they had with him at that point in time.
And that's to make the story and the cutscene look like CGI movie.
No, it wasn't for the cutscene, man. That piece wasn't for the cutscene.
Okay,
I would disagree with you on that one. That was his realization of making the world you're going to play in as real as possible. That was that one. That was not for cutscene.
Because if we go visually, Death Stranding is ridiculously visual. And I heard people say, and we finna get into the next point of this.
It's beautiful.
I heard people literally say this. They went from talking about they said the gameplay is utter boredom. But man, those visuals. Man, and they because the gameplay was just that barren. All they can hype up was the visuals and the story, and that's what they said made the game worth buying. To see the visuals and the story, and I was like, bro, this is getting into some very touchy places because now, which we can go to the next topic, well, the topic under the next topic. Well, let me ask this. With what we just said, everyone, is Kojima overrated? Whoever want to jump out. I don't care.
I say no because he's known for his stories. We're not talking about his stories.
Okay, so okay. So keep say no because of his stories. Who want to take a shot?
I'll jump in. I'll say I'll ask a question. Is Will Smith overrated?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say yes.
Yeah, he overrated, but I think he.
I would say now he is.
I would take that into account going all the way back to the beginning. Sometimes, your fondness for someone can get you to look at things from rose-colored glasses. And,
right.
Because I enjoyed his music in the beginning and I enjoyed him on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, that is something in my mind to enjoy things that he was doing in movies, more than I probably should have. And I actually had to go back and look at those movies, really look at them and say, is his acting really that good? Bad Boys movies, it was funny, but wasn't anything that it wasn't like another actor couldn't produce that same performance. Same thing with Independence Day, same thing with the Men in Black movies. Ali, he did a good job. I think he did a good job with that. I don't think he really captured his personality quite right. It's sort of like a bad imitation of Muhammad Ali. It didn't really make me believe that he was Muhammad Ali the same way that Jamie Foxx made me believe that he was Ray Charles or, somebody like that. But I think his acting has been sufficient, but because of his name, we say that Will Smith's acting was great in those early movies. And now we look at his movies and say, man, I'm not really sure I feel this. I think this is what it's been all along. I don't think he got any worse as an actor. I don't think the movies are that bad. It's just that if you put a better actor in those movies, they probably would have been decent.
I would say I don't blame the person that's been overrated for being overrated. It's the overrated is on our end. We are doing the overrated, not them. It's not like it'd be like somebody trying to walk in a level that they haven't achieved yet. Will ain't doing that. Or Kojima ain't doing that. We said Kojima was this great.
Mm-hmm.
We said Will Smith was that great. It wasn't Will saying, Will never came out and said, I'm that great, man. I'm just, no, he just moving in the doors that we opened it up and the fame that we claim he should have. Now we able to look at his full body of work up to this point and be like, I think we let the hype and the bandwagon and everybody saying we supposed to like this person and everybody saying this movie's supposed to be viewed this way and seen this way and the big machine behind the movie and behind the star, Hollywood told us we supposed to like this person, so we like this person. It ain't Will Smith's fault. So yes, he overhyped, but not because he doesn't deserve what he got and where he at. It's because we let Hollywood and the sale of Will Smith and him being the next big thing, we bought into the hype of that. It wasn't him. So I would say from that angle, we did the same thing with Kojima. Kojima was never that guy. Those games were never those games. We were just told that we were supposed to view those games as those games.
That's what I disagree. My
I'm not saying he didn't have some great games.
No. I'm agreeing with the fact that those weren't those games. To me, my most my best experiences when I was growing up playing video games in the PS1 era, PS2 was the Metal Gear Solid series. I will disagree about him being trash or his movies and games not being that good back then because they absolutely were. They were revolutionary.
His games were good, but But again, you miss what I'm saying.
No. You said his games was never that big. That's what you said.
What I meant was
Okay.
when Kojima, in the early NES, PlayStation, yes, them games were great because those games was more focused around the actual gameplay of the game. Kojima's story was just icing. It was a great story amongst great gameplay. But when Kojima got more and more control of the game, that's Kojima. From that point, everything we've seen up to that point really wasn't Kojima. It was a team effort with Kojima's vision of storytelling over it. Everything after that, we started saying Kojima is that guy. He's that man. That's the same with Will Smith. When we started saying Will Smith was the man and more control was given to Will Smith to direct and call the shots on the set, then we started saying, well, Will Smith actually ain't that good. Maybe other folks was making Will Smith good. That's the point with Kojima. Like, when Kojima got more and more control of what he was creating, it stopped being as good. So he is overrated because what we gave him credit for really wasn't Kojima. Like, if you go watch the video that Keith put up, that game was already created before Kojima. They called Kojima in to make a good story for it to make it translate, I think, here over in the West.
And what game was it again?
The original Metal Gear Solid. What was that game, Keith?
Yeah. I think that's it.
Yeah, Kojima was called in because they didn't have a good story for the game. It didn't make, so they called it that he came in with his potential.
But the question is, did every game after that follow that same trend? That's the question. I don't know if the video answers that. That if that's how it worked for that game, can you extrapolate and say every other game followed the same trend?
No, because
as him just being a story maker. Him just being a story maker.
Right.
That's what I'm suggesting. But go ahead. I don't want to get your point.
I'm saying
because I think we're drawing that conclusion without.
No, I'm saying you can look at like I said, you had to go watch that video to get why I'm saying what I'm saying. If you watch the progression of Kojima's career from when he first got brought on to the project at Sony with that PlayStation 1 game, up to when Kojima made a name for himself and they started giving him more control at Konami running his own game where they was throwing Kojima money, not throwing his game money that Kojima is a part of the team of, but Kojima started to become the man in the director's seat of the game. When Kojima got more control of what took place in the game, that's when we started seeing that his brilliance started to show that, man, this dude ain't a game maker. And let's go back to what D2K said. You need to put a person like Kojima with a person who is equally as respected at developing games. So you can get his brilliance without diminishing or sacrificing the game, because Kojima ain't focused on the game more so than his story. His story the game would never overshadow his story. The story he want to tell. The game is the icing to his, and the story is basically the cake. So when it's supposed to be the other way around, the game play is supposed to be the cake and the story is supposed to be the icing. That's God of War 4. God of War 4 gameplay is intact. That's Patrick Mahomes. But then
no. If you actually time out. Let me jump into this, because did you actually watch that God of War video?
Yes, I watched it again after
because the whole point.
Okay, that was God speaking. So K-Bun fell out because God wanted to hear what I got to say. So anyway, so no, you back, bro? You back, K-Bun? Okay, so. No,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead. I don't want to.
Oh no.
I laid a good one on you. Go ahead, man. Are you there? God really blocking you right now, bro. What I'm saying is, I really want to hear what he finna say about God of War in that video. I watched it again. The first time I watched it, I didn't really watch it. The second time I watched that video. And
all right, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, I don't know what's going on with my mic. No, what I was trying to say is that in that God of War video,
way better too.
You say what?
You sound way better. Whatever you just did.
Yeah. So in that God of War video, that guy, what he was talking about is that he wanted to tell this story.
Right.
The beginning of God of War was just story. That's all it was. That's all they had was story. They spent years building story, not gameplay, not visuals, story. That's what he built, and he became a new father. And this is the story that he wanted to tell for Kratos. The beginning, the building blocks of God of War was story, and then
I agree with
gameplay
that.
came.
No. Well, let
Okay.
me counter what you're
Go-
saying while agreeing with
go
what
ahead,
you're
sir.
saying.
All right.
Okay, it goes back to what D2K said with Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes understands how to make a game. Period. So Patrick Mahomes.
I don't think Patrick Mahomes know how to.
Let me finish. I mean, not to make a game, but play football. He knows how
there
to
we
be.
go.
He knows how to. I'm sorry. I'm glad I got what you said.
Quarterback.
He knows how to be a traditional pocket, quintessential, what all these teams look for a quarterback. He knows how to be that, and he can be that. But then his genius comes in. He knows how to ebb and flow out of that and do the normal thing, the kind of the contrary things, the things that cut against the grain to that staple of what a quarterback's supposed to be, because he understands the foundation of being a quarterback. That's the God of War guy. He might have came into God of War trying to tell this story, which took precedent over the gameplay, because he understands how to make the gameplay fit, because he understands how to be, like Patrick Mahomes, a traditional quarterback. He know how to make a traditional game.
I don't know if he did. I don't know if it was people around him that helped him realize that.
I think proof is in the pudding. Whether he did or his team did, I don't care. The proof is whatever
However it happened.
Yeah, whatever the formula is there at
Santa Monica.
Santa Monica, the proof is in the pudding of the God of War games.
Right.
If you go back to the original PlayStation, to the PlayStation 2, to the PlayStation 3, to the remaster on the PlayStation,
which is a different team, a little different team, and a different person leading it.
Right.
That was David Jaffe.
Thank you. So the foundation of the game is still intact. Okay, now they decide, okay, now this is getting a little old in the tooth. We finna break away. The story is intact, but God of War gameplay is just as on par intact.
It is just as good.
Right.
It's just as good as the gameplay. But the other point I was making is that the story wasn't second. That's the main piece.
I want to say
the main piece I was drawing out.
I'm not saying the story was second to God of War.
Okay.
What I'm saying is for most, the story would be the icing to the foundational gameplay. And this gets into our third topic.
Cool.
Did you say was Kojima overrated to you, or what did you say? I don't know if I ever got a chance to get around.
You didn't ask me.
Yeah, well, let me get that out first before we go into this last topic.
I don't really know. I mean, it depends on what it is that you're comparing it to. I like what you said about how, it's basically our opinions of certain things that we overrate or underrate people. And we do it in sports all the time. We say this player is great because, we're fans of them, and we overlook the mistakes that they make and overhype the good things that they do to make them bigger than they actually are. And there's some people that we may not like, that we, underplay their accomplishments, and when they make a mistake, we make sure it's on the front page news. So
LeBron,
LeBron James.
I'm
not gonna go there. But,
go ahead.
but he's not overrated as I think what Keith was saying. He's not overrated as a storyteller at all. He's definitely gets due justice for that ability. I think that he probably gets more credit for the gameplay in games than he probably should. Because you pointed out that a lot of his team are basically good at taking his ideas and transplanting that into compelling gameplay. because it's more than just one person, regardless of who
Right.
it is, not just him, but any whether it's where even with Miyamoto. Miyamoto is great. He's a great designer. He's probably the GOAT as far as game design is concerned. But there was a lot of people that worked underneath him that helped his ideas become reality. Because like I was saying before, if you have a genius and their genius is unchecked, that's when you get, Wii Music. That's when you get Star Fox Zero. When you get people around you that have the balls to stand up and say, you know what, we don't need to do that. We don't need to go there. We need to stay here. We need to go there. Then you get masterpieces like Mario 64 and stuff like that. So as long as you have somebody to keep you straight, everything is okay. So I don't think he's overrated as a storyteller. I think he might be overrated as a game designer.
I got a question for you, Level.
Yeah.
What if you found out that Kojima was helping with the story to the next Breath of the Wild?
I wouldn't have a problem
Would
with
you
that,
be
long as he doesn't mess with what's his name
Anuma.
Anuma. As long as he don't mess with Anuma on the gameplay, I'm fine with him.
And
helping with the
long
story.
as he doesn't add voice acting, you cool with that too,
No,
right?
he can add voice acting too. but what I want to get, let me send a shout out to LT 1984. I see you in the building, bro. What's up, man? Welcome to the show. I want to get to this last topic: storytelling and gameplay. When is a game no longer a game? Because I think Kojima. I don't think Death Stranding. As I look more into it and see more and more people talking about it, there is gameplay here. Boring. Boring gameplay, unimaginative gameplay, but gameplay nonetheless. But the question I have, because of this controversy around Death Stranding, is with storytelling being an integral part of games nowadays. Like, to me, stories is just as important as gameplay now. I give you that, K-Bum. To me, you got to have both. Like games like God of War has made it very understood that to really have a top tier game, the story has to be just as developed as the gameplay, and or vice versa. They both got to be there and both got to be intact. Both got to be on point to me in where we going with games today. So, but with that being said, when is a game no longer a game when it comes to storytelling? How far can we push gameplay back to allow storytelling to take precedence before the game is no longer, before a video game is no longer a video game? That's my question. Because while I won't say Death Stranding, I think Death Stranding is in this argument, but not as egregious as other games that we can bring up, like the Telltale games and stuff like that. Like what's that Capcom game? Kira, what was that name? The game. It looked like a dope game, but they said it was basically a button prompt game, pretty much the whole game. It's made by Capcom. This dude that was like he was like a god. There was gods and all. I can't remember the name of that game.
Maybe somebody in the comment section can help.
Yeah, somebody, y'all know that game I'm talking about. It's from Capcom. It came out on the PlayStation 3. It was made by Capcom. It looked more like I remember him fighting Akuma one time. They had him up against Akuma fighting. But anyway, that game was basically a quick time event. That's basically what the game was. There was really no real gameplay. It was just quick time events. But anyway, when is a game no longer a game? How?
Frame it now.
I'm trying to figure out how I want to say it.
How
much gameplay can be missing? What'd you say, Keith?
He said, "Let him use
Let him
it."
use
it. So how absent can gameplay be before the game is no
Alex
longer
Prime
a game?
said Azuma. Azuma is what it is.
There it is. Yeah. That's it. Thanks, Alex.
Alex Prim. Sorry.
Yeah, that's it. How how absent can gameplay be before we say a game is no longer a game? D2K.
That's a good question. Because I think it's relative to the individual and how much story you need in a game and how much story that you don't need. For me, I obviously would prefer more gameplay than actual time events or cinema displays or things of that nature. I buy a game to play a game, not to watch a movie. You do have to have that in certain. It depends on how deep the story is. If it's a really deep story and there's a lot of emotion involved, and they're trying to draw you in to the character, then you kind of have to have that. But if it's something that's very straightforward, then you don't really need to have all that in there. Just get from point A to point B. Boom, 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 boom. I mean, you don't need a whole lot of cutscenes in a Mario game. I mean, it's pretty straightforward what you're trying to do. You're trying to save the princess. So you're just getting from stage to stage. But a game like any Zelda game, there's a whole lot of exposition in that. So you have to have a lot of cutscenes. But in none of the games I've ever played, those cutscenes ever take away from the overall experience. They just framed what was going on. It was necessary to know what was coming ahead of you, even way down the line. Even if you weren't going to encounter it right away, you knew at some point in the game you're going to have to deal with the situation. They're telling you now, and having to put things together and say, "Oh yeah, I remember when this person said this, or I remember where I did that." I guess it's a very fine line. It really depends on what type of story that you're telling. I don't think there's really a definitive answer to that.
Okay. I like how you framed it though. Keith, give me your thoughts, bro. When is a game no longer a game?
Start off as being a game.
Okay, say it again. I kind of missed some of it. You got it. Oh, you breaking up?
Y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Hold on 1 second. Somebody called me and knocked me off the thing.
Oh, okay.
I hate that.
Yeah. When is a game no longer a game? I mean, traditionally, you want to say a game is no longer a game where you're not doing something interactive, right? And I think you brought up the Telltale games, and how you basically do quick time events and you just do certain things. I guess. I mean, I guess it just really depends on what they're trying to get across. I mean, a game could be like if you go back to some of those old PC games, like there was zero gameplay, but those are games where you're just basically putting the story narratives together.
Okay.
I never liked those games. I remember like on the old calculators, the TI 83s and stuff like that. We had plenty of games like that where you were just basically trying to put the story together, but there wasn't any actual movement of a character or gameplay. So it's basically whenever you can't interact with something. When you no longer interact with something and you no longer make decisions, it's no longer a game.
Okay.
They have stuff like that on the the Philips CDI as well.
So
Yeah.
right. I remember some of them games you talking about. I remember watching a friend play some of them games. So would you call I know we probably generically called that a game, but would you call that a game or would you call that an interactive movie?
It's a game.
Still a game.
Still a game. Okay.
And that's actually the point that I was going to take too.
Go ahead.
Is that even if you're in you like those games back in like the Sega Saturn, the Sega Saturn had some games like, or the Jaguar had some games like that too, where you were pretty much watching, what was going on like a movie, but you were able to interact and make decisions, and then it would play out. To me, that's still a game, even though you're not controlling the character, you're not really in full control of the character. You're just interacting with this environment. But to me, that's still a game. And so I would still classify as that. And I think Keith did a really good job. One thing I think B2K did a good job of framing it. And I think Keith did a pretty good job of solidifying my answer. Is when you don't have any interaction. If you're just sitting there, like we don't have interactions with um, the Avengers Endgame. We have no interaction with that. That's going to play out the same way regardless. I would even dare to say Boulder Dash. Was that the name of that the Netflix thing? That can be considered a video game. Because of the fact that you had interactions and you could make decisions on the story, that could be considered.
So you can basically
impact a game.
The story. Basically,
you can impact the story. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. I mean, I'm just asking because that was one of the big arguments we was having in the hangout. I was saying Kojima is not making video games or getting close to not making video games, but it was something you said that I had to think about. Like when I watched, there is gameplay there. It's boring. It's boring.
It's trash.
But you controlling
it's
that.
trash.
You controlling that as you bouncing up a hill and sliding down a hill, and
yep.
I don't know what else you're doing with the baby. I don't understand why we doing all this, but that's what I have to do to get to the next aspect of the story. So there is gameplay there. So for me, yeah, I would agree. I think because I think we do ourselves a disservice by trying to limit. Like if they want to make those games and there's a crowd there that like that, like if it's a person and people, a group that likes Death Stranding, I don't think it's wrong for them to like it, even though I feel like, Kojima.
It's stupid.
It's stupid, yeah. And what Kojima did is very cheap. I still don't think it's wrong for them to want to go play it. I had a problem with the reviewers because you can't tell me something is boring and
give it a 10.
Yeah, boring, and you really forcing yourself to continue through because you like the story.
That's not a 10.
Yeah, that should reflect on your score. So, but outside of that, I have no problem with a game like Death Stranding existing. I think some of the verbiage around the game to make, because who it was reaching, like Kojima is challenging the conventional understanding of a video game. No, he made a boring video game that you don't want to say is boring because it's Kojima. So you trying to come up with clever ways to say Kojima made a extremely boring video game, but the story is good. That's what you want to say. He ain't challenging anything. So
I mean, just be honest about it. It's like I was talking about with Terminator. I mean, a movie is if you want to see an action movie in great special effects, the movie has plenty of that. But if you want it to make sense, it don't. Right. I'm just being honest.
So,
I mean, theoretically, he's made an extremely technical game, though.
Yeah.
Theoretically,
I think that's why I told in the live in the chat in the hangout when I said, and this what made me K-Bum go back and watch the video that you sent about the development of a God of War 4. I put a snip in there, a little small snip of the guy that was the main guy on over that project, and I said, man, Kojima needs to watch this the next time he makes a game or he heads up a video game. But then that triggered me. I was like, well, K-Bum did post that, man. I watched it, but I casually watched it, and I had skepticism when I watched it. Oh, they just putting on for the cameras and all that. So I went back and I actually watched it from the beginning. I missed some stuff. Like
it was good, man.
That was a good video.
It was really good.
It was really good. And it gave you a chance to really see what these developers go through and the pressure and the anxiety that they experience, because you got to get this to be believed in and bought into by millions of fans. So I felt chills go down my back when when they finally got to E3 to present God of War 4. And I'm going to go on the record and say, the Switch is my favorite system this gen. I don't know if it fits into the gen or not. I don't know how people count that.
No, it's the next gen. So
okay.
It's
my
the favorite of the 9th gen so far.
Yeah, it's my favorite system right now. But my favorite game of this generation is God of War 4. it edged out. And I want to say, I said this in the hangout, but for K-Bum's pleasure, I will say it live to you guys here. It edged out Breath of the Wild for this reason and this reason only. The story and how they told it.
What?
Woo!
Because
hey, you ever see that meme? That meme of Antonio Banderas when he's like, "Yes."
I had to sit down. And look, bro, and we end on this, and I'll let y'all have final thoughts and we'll get out of here. I wrestled. I sat down and I wrestled with it, and I was like, Breath of the Wild to me is an amazing game. Breath of the Wild is amazing to me, and I have crazy memories. But when I thought about God of War 4, I was like, the story. I don't go to YouTube to watch Breath of the Wild clips. I don't go, but I found myself going to watch the cutscenes of God of War because they was just that epic. Trying to remember I just figured out that I don't know if anybody hasn't played God of War 4. I missed so many nuggets in the story. The fact that Loki shows up and a certain person is Loki, and I started Keith when I started sharing all those theories. Now, don't get me wrong, it's theories about the new Zelda, and the new Zelda going to be great. But I honest to God, do wish that Nintendo would consider telling the Zelda story in the same manner that God of War and other games tell their story.
It'll never happen.
I know it will. I know it won't. I'm just saying, like the same thing we saying about Luigi's Mansion. Like this would take Luigi's Mansion to another level to tell the story and actually voice out the story. I like when Nintendo going with Legend of Zelda. I like that you did have cutscenes with voice acting, but really expand on that. Really, really take it to where it could go. I think it'll make a game like God of War look like what if you had that level of storytelling along with that Zelda experience. But that's what edged it out, man. It was the way that they told that story. And I've been a God of War fanatic because of the story, not necessarily the gameplay. Which I say again, K-Bum, I give you that with that game. The gameplay ain't always why I come back to the game, but the gameplay is good though. I enjoy the gameplay. But I come back because I'm so into that story. Like I'm so into Kratos and the gods of Olympus. Now we in the Vikings with the Nordic mythos. Now we seeing Thor and Odin. Man, I'm there for all this. I'm there for that story, but I know the gameplay is gonna be there too, so I ain't got to worry about playing a boring game, Kojima. So anyway,
I do want to say, I'll be real quick. I do want to say I'm happy that you actually got a chance to watch that video for real, and actually got to see how development actually works. Because I work in development, and so that to me was a love song, and I just thought that was an excellent documentary, and I'm just happy you got a chance to actually see it. Because that's kind of stuff you pointed out, the stuff I was kind of wanting you to see the first time. I'm happy you got a chance to see it.
Yeah, I like I said, I watched it, but I came in, I thought you was being a Sony guy and trying to throw that Sony like these, because we was in that back and forth about development and developers, and I was like, oh, okay, well I'm not watching because you just trying to use this to. But no, that's a good video, man.
It's really good, man.
That's a good video. So with that being said, any final words? We can get out of here.
Yeah, man. Death Stranding, man. Game of the generation.
Let me ask this. What do you think?
I'm gonna play it. Eventually, I'm gonna play. I'm gonna rent it from GameFly and then send it back probably a couple hours later. But I'm gonna try it eventually at some point in this.
What are y'all? I had a thought that I want. Oh yeah. What do y'all think Jeff Keighley is going to say about Death Stranding? You think he's going to lie, or you think or do you think they're just going to gloss over the game because of the controversy surrounding it?
Depends on how much money they put in his pocket.
Right.
That pretty much covers whatever he does.
You're right. Sony gonna play him good to pump that game up, I guess. So anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna let these guys sign out. Starting with Mr. Norris. What's up, bro? Sign out.
Yo, great show, great topics. Um, hopefully, we got some objectivity going on here. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait for the next thing to happen, and we can talk about it and dissect it and be divisive and polarizing. Anyway, man, y'all have a good one, man.
K-Bomb.
Yo, for anyone thinking about, anyone wondering what we're talking about the video, that video is called Raising Kratos, which was a documentary made by the Santa Monica team, which is an excellent movie. If you like video games, you would love this documentary. Trust me. Getting to know the voice actors behind the scene was probably one of the best moments in the actual video game. When the guy actually got to talking about his family and how the whole story of Kratos was a love letter to his family. That was probably my favorite moment in the whole documentary. But I enjoyed the conversation. I thought I was gonna be attacked. I was ready for it. But hey, bro,
wait a minute, hold up,
bro, we went a whole day in the comment section, bro, in the hangout, and you was coming with that fire. I just knew it. I'm like, but no, it was a really good podcast. We went back and forth. We had some disagreements, which is awesome. We had some agreements, which is dope. Everyone got a chance to say their point. I enjoyed it today. And I thought we did a great job with the topic, man. And that game is boring. For those who love it, hey, please love it, play it, get all the enjoyment you can. I hope you play it twice. But for me, I like Kojima. I like you, Kojima. I think you're really good, but you lost me on this one. So.
All right.
I normally don't say anything, but this time I'll chime in. If you want to play a game that does have good cutscenes that could be construed as a movie, check out that Modern Warfare. That game it was the breaking convention that the series needed. It was the change that the series needed. As different as the game looks in presentation, it still feels like Call of Duty gameplay wise. Not 1 ounce of it feels different.
That's dope.
It's like you're playing a different game, but you're not playing a different game. It is unbelievably realistic.
Okay. Let me answer this question that asked earlier, and I said we was gonna say something about it. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to Fallout Order. I've changed my position on that game. When it drops, I plan on getting it sometime a little bit later. But that game looks like it's gonna be dope. And yeah, I'm interested in that game.
What game is that?
Fallout Order. Star Wars Fallout. I think we talked about that last week.
Oh yeah.
It's about the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah. I'm reading this. I see. Yeah, Jedi Fallen Order. I'm looking forward to the game, and we kind of changed our tune on that one as well. Like,
right, we did.
We had to. Well, we saw the last few videos they released of that game looking worthy of people's attention. So that'll be probably the first EA game I've bought, man, since Madden 17.
Wow.
Yeah,
it's been a minute.
It's been a minute. So, with that being said, man, I enjoyed myself. Thanks for everybody hanging out in the comments section. Alex, Prim, Alex Prime. I'm sorry, bro. Who else is up in here? Shadow Fox Infinite.
Dark Sun as usual.
Dark Sun, Ryder, Active Gamer Life, Mario, Pickin' Nerd. We're going to have to work on that, bro. We're going to have to work on that name. Who else is down here? Bad Latency, LT 1984, and Dark Sun Rider. All of you guys kept us good. Thanks for posting stuff when we can't figure out names. Alex, man, thank you for keeping that up for us. And till next time, folks, deuces.